Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Guru. Seeking the blessings of our spiritual gurus, Divine Mother, Mother of the Universe, Mahavatar Babaji, and the Great Master, we begin this Thursday session towards preparation for the Sunday and raising the questions and the answers within our mind. Today we are talking about wellness in the spiritual world. What is so great thing about being spiritual? It's worth considering. Why should we become? We are pretty happy being physical and enjoying and being followed by the desires created by the sensual attractions, senses, five senses gathering and bringing the world. So Swami Vivekananda tells us what exactly, the last Sunday was the Easter Sunday. But Easter Sunday reminded us that let us not be ordinary. Swami Vivekananda says, don't be ordinary. Each one of us are very special. There's something very special, core, in the middle of us. It's guiding us. Swami Vivekananda is telling us, do not be ordinary. After all, in life, there is only one like you or like me. And that one needs to bring out that power from within. There is a tremendous power. And that one can play many roles. Like a mother. Mother plays the role of a mother. She is also the daughter of someone. She plays the role of a wife of someone. She plays the role of a professional. She plays the role of a friend. She plays the role of so many. Similarly, remember, picking up gems from the various masters and establishing it within us with an understanding is equivalent to that matchstick which has got fire within. The matchstick doesn't know about it, is ignorant of it. But when you realize getting guided to the spiritual world by a guru, by a teacher, or Atma Param Guru, you learn how to strike it to create fire, or the spark hidden inside the flint of a lighter. So remember, I covered with you Easter Sunday, Jesus Christ, those 9 special sermons and the Sermon on the Mount. He said, blessed are those who mourn for God, for those who cry, being spiritually, for they shall be comforted. They will witness, they will see God. They will feel the comfort. Now in this, what we are not realizing, that the mourning is not, it's just crying. It is something, the beginning of a spiritual world comes in from that suffering, from that sadness, which is realizing from within, I need something more. And that is the beginning of the wellness. Very famous philosopher Freud, he was not a very spiritual person, but he gave a definition of his religion, a very nice decision. He said that the characteristics of the religion is the belief in something which is bigger than life, something transcendental. And that is the beginning of the wellness of the spiritual world. What we do in this world does not really provide us permanent peace, does not give us when we are really seeing, knowing what is going on, goes on mourning. Meaning, in this world, is not providing us that permanent satisfaction. And we are seeking that satisfaction. When you unveiling the spiritual wisdom, you start to realize when we are born on this earth, there is already a world which existed. And when we now born, we bring another world within us. That world within us is outside in addition to the world surrounding us. That world surrounding us would have continued whether we are born or not. But when we are born, that world within us has a tremendous importance. And this, our school, parenting, education system is not really teaching us about the world within us. And the last 20 years or so, in the world outside, tremendous importance is coming into this field called education. But that education which used to be there in our country, the ancient rich heritage of Vedanta, Rishi's education, which talked about the world within us. But today's education is memory and intellect, intelligence and memory, which is the world outside of us, which is provided to us by the five senses. You see, you read, you listen, you hear, and it goes on with the memory, you reproduce it, and that is the education which you and I have grown up. And government is now paying a lot of importance in the education today. You know, when we started off our education system, we didn't care what is happening even in the other school. Forget about what was happening, let's say, in another country, in America or Finland. And we always thought any education outside of my school is very good, very great. We got a small school. But now the government realizes that the economic strength being globalized, that schools of every other country and through the social media is now easily accessible and available. And this learning of the spiritual wealth which is within us and the education is very closely attached, because I don't know if you're aware that 30% of the children of 9th graders in United States of America are not completing 12th grade. They're school dropouts. Why? Because their spiritual quotient, their inside connection, that I am something very special, which Vivekananda is saying, don't be ordinary. You and I, just getting connected to that spiritual wealth, we start to realize the power from within. Look at us as kids. When we were babies, by 15, 18 months, 2 years of age, we learned so many things. Learn 2, 3, 4, 5 languages if we had twin speaking mother and father of different language, different nations, or including the maidservant and somebody else. We picked up languages so fast. Languages were not taught to us really, because it's a very complex process of teaching language. Look carefully. Children love to learn. They're always curious of learning. They love to learn, but they don't like education. This is why there are school dropouts. I'm going to touch upon today, talk about wellness of the spiritual life and spiritual wellness through the 4 yogas. The Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. And what can really spiritually do for us? What are the benefits of that? Now, when this question came about, Bhagavan Buddha, he was asked by one of the monks of his own spiritual order. He said, Bhagavan Buddha, I had this doubt for a long time. You have taught us, the monk was telling Bhagavan Buddha, that you have taught us suffering is there in life. But there is a cause to the suffering, which is desire, greed, Wanting things automatically give us desire, which should be creating desire. And that desire is the cause of the suffering. And you told us that there is a way out of this suffering. And there is attainment of nirvana. You told us there is Ashtanga Marg, 8 folds of teaching will take us away, Lord Buddha's teaching. You defined, that is, the monk is telling Lord Buddha, you defined that suffering is old age, suffering is disease, suffering is death. Now we find that even though we are all following you, your teaching, but we are all experiencing aging, we are all experiencing disease. It's a good question. You told us that if we follow Ashtanga Marg, we are following it. But there is old age, there is disease, there is death. We can see not only us, even you are suffering, you're also aging. The monk is telling Lord Buddha, even you are aging, and possibly there will be a death one day to the body. Then old age, disease and death and suffering continues even though we are following your teaching. What is your message, O Lord Buddha? And how will the Ashtanga Marg work? Very good question. How does it work? You said it will work. It will take us to nirvana. And how do we overcome that suffering? Lord Buddha gave a beautiful message, and that incisive answer gives us a wonderful teaching of the wellness to the spiritual world. He said, imagine a man, those days with the bows and arrow. He said, imagine a man is shot with an arrow. An arrow has come and pierced him. Imagine his pain. Now this pain is the suffering which is caused by what the world throw at us. And imagine now that man is shot with another arrow, the second arrow. Imagine the multiplied pain in that man by the second arrow, immediately after the first arrow. How much more suffering? The first arrow, Buddha is explaining, represents the suffering that the world throws us. And the things that happen in the world, such as old age, disease, social problems, financial problems, relationship problems, health problems, and so on. Whatever the monk was asking, disease, old age, sickness, death, financial problem, relationship problem, money problem, health problem. The Buddha is saying the first arrow would the world throw us. Those are those items. He said they all occur in the world and bring us suffering. But the second arrow that hits us is our reaction to those suffering. Did you understand? The first arrow is what the world is throwing at us, and those things will happen. Old age, disease, death, sickness, financial, relationship problem. But the second arrow is our reaction to it, which is worse. And I am teaching you how to take care of the second arrow. What a beautiful definition. What happens in this world, pleasant and unpleasant, but that is not the cause of suffering. Main cause of suffering is our reaction to the events of the world. The reaction, our reaction, how we look at it. How do we react to that disease, to that aging process, to the approaching of the death, the fear, the anxiety? Buddha is going on to saying the reaction to this suffering lies the maximum suffering. That is the answer of the two arrows. One arrow, the world throws at us. Second arrow, our reaction to it. It is the second arrow which causes and contains the suffering. The Buddha says, all that I have taught, all that Buddha has taught, is spirituality can do is improve that suffering which is caused by the second arrow. And the wellness of the spiritual connection for us is to know pleasant and unpleasant events coming from the world. They will keep on coming. But reaction, and they have come for everybody. They have even come for great spiritual master. As the monk was saying, Buddha, you're also growing old. You also get sick. But he says that learning to react to that, whether Buddha, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Swami Vivekananda, our reaction to it. Swami Vivekananda told, I will not cross the age of 40. And he left his body at 39. He left his body. He told people 5 days before. Sister Nivedita said, but we need you. He said, my work is over. And quietly, he went into Samadhi and he left his body. Paramahansa Ramakrishna, 3 days to go for his death. He died after 3 days. Big lump of cancerous throat, ball of mass in his throat. And it happened because, as it is said, he took the certain evil things of the other disciples. He took it upon himself. And they all say there are many disciples who were not very okay type, and he took theirs so that they leech, and he took their sickness and suffering upon himself. And Turiya Maharaj comes. He asks, Thakur, how are you feeling today? 3 days to go in Kashipukur bungalow, where he was resting at that time. He comes and says, how are you feeling today? And Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, this ball of throat is creating a lot of problems. I can't eat. I can't drink water also. It's spilling out from my mouth. A lot of pain. Can't talk. And Hari Maharaj, who became Turiyananda Swami, said, but Thakur, you look to be as if you are in bliss. You are in great joy, Ananda, your face is glowing. And instead of getting upset, Paramahansa Ramakrishna said, Rascal has caught me. Rascal has caught me, Shala dhore pheleche in Bengali. So, disease subtly will break down the body, and overwork will break down the body. But you, through the 4 yogas, will learn how to walk the life full of thorns. This samsara, this life in our medium, the moment we grow up, will be filled with thorn. Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, those who are wise, they will wear shoes while walking on the path filled with thorn. Walking with shoes, what does it mean? It means accept those 4 yogas. Karma Yoga, work not for yourself to gather wealth or to get great health or to great name and fame, but selflessly for the welfare of other people. Raja Yoga, focus your mind and learn to stay focused and progressively reach towards that nirvana samadhi. As you practice, it will come. Bhakti Yoga, we are practicing all 4 yogas. Bhakti Yoga, go ahead and have tremendous faith in Babaji, Krishna, Shiva, or Mother Kali, or Saraswati, Lakshmi, Rama, and continue to work towards that. And Jnana Yoga, know that I'm not this body, I'm not this name. Yes, I have a name, I have a body, but I'm the light which is within me. And that light is the light of the consciousness. And no, I am operating from my memory of the mind, but unfortunately remembering the sad thing, and in my present is current experience and past is the memory. I bring from the past sad thing, bitter thing, and feel miserable. I think I'm not okay. My brothers, sisters are better. My neighbor children are better. My boss is better. My juniors are better. And I feel less. This is what Vivekananda meant by saying, do not be ordinary. Now, stop remembering the sad thing. Bring great memory. And now, feel good at the present time. Just imagine it and visualize a great future ahead. I will attain oneness in this life just by visualizing. Remember, Wright brothers told we are going to fly. Nobody believed them. Henry Ford said, I'm going to start a motorbike, motor vehicle. Nobody believed him. Wright brothers flew. You and I are flying today. Henry Ford made a car. We are all driving. Today it's a piece of cake. But they visualized, they imagine, whatever you visualize and imagine, and plant it into that light within. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm that consciousness, Chaitanya. Not this Jit, this is Jada, body. I am operating with my body and the mind. I keep it perfect. Temple has to be good and clean for the idol to be worshipped. And that idol is the light within. Come, delve, ask questions, and we shall do more on coming Sunday. Jai Guru.